You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jeanne Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jeanne Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact. Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Wealth Impact. Today we have Dominika Staniewicz, a dual elite neuroencoding specialist and brain health coach, celebrated author of the groundbreaking Magic of Dreaming Big, Acting Small, and Achieving Success. Coach D isn't just another regular life coach. She's a neuroscience ninja armed with deep knowledge and actionable strategies. Think firecracker charisma meets scientific wisdom equipped with profound insights and actionable strategies. Welcome, Dominika.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be your guest.
Oh, such a pleasure. So let's start digging in to what you're teaching people. You were talking about celebrating and not celebrating, and I was fascinated by that. So let's continue that conversation now. What is that? When should people celebrate stuff, and why should they not? And how does that work?
So that is a phenomenon because we have concentrated on only one aspect of human behavior. And we've concentrated on people who have low self-esteem, that put themselves down, that are, the negative Nancys, that don't see their achievements, and they're just living in this world of despair. And those people absolutely should celebrate, especially the little achievements, because that raises our dopamine and the kind of pursuit chemical. And that's a very important distinction. Dopamine, yes, on one hand, it is a happy chemical, but it's actually a pursuit chemical that is tied to prolactin, which is there's no hope for me chemical. And that's very important distinction to remember, because when you're type A or person, and most high achievers are type A, or you're a people pleaser, you should not celebrate every event. And everybody's, what do you mean I shouldn't celebrate? Well, because dopamine is an addictive chemical. And after your brain gets used to a certain level, it needs more and more and more and more. And there's never a stop. If you keep raising that with your celebrations and excitement, what happens is you raise the level of the dopamine release even more. And then there's never enough. And you get to a point, and as I said, it's important, it's tied to prolactin, which is the chemical of, okay, well, I did this, and what's next? What's the point of life? Where am I going to go from here? And those lows get even lower the higher the dopamine, and that evens out. So the higher dopamine goes, the higher that feeling of despair. There's no point. There's nothing for me to do. So you need to keep going. And most people keep going because they don't want to feel that low. So it's not real motivation. It's fear of the feeling of there's no point in living.
It's the feeling.
Yes, and that feeling can kill you. That feeling can literally go into depression and suicidal thoughts and suicidal ideation. So it's not the healthiest thing to celebrate everything if you're type A, or if you are a person who is a people pleaser. There is a way to rewire your brain and lower, like everything we can adjust, right? And we can adjust our brain with the levels of dopamine releases. And one of the protocols that it is for that, it is to extend celebration of past events. So when you do something and it comes out great, instead of celebrating this particular event and raising even higher the dopamine, go back in memory to things that you enjoyed in the past and you did well, to extend that feeling, which lowers the dopamine and allows you to feel good without the whole hype. And it's a practice, real like meditation, mindfulness, it's a practice, because our natural, reactions, yes, I did, it was awesome, I'm fantastic, oh my God, this is so cool, I got it. And then again, we go down. So to prevent that from happening and start to regulate your brain consciously, we need to start not celebrating, but remembering past positive events and successes every other 2 or 3. So it's not like you're never going to celebrate, but you do not celebrate every success. You skip 2 or 3 while remembering the past. So kind of pulling from the past experience, so your brain can calm down and even itself out. That allows your brain to self-regulate. And that is a conscious decision. The beautiful thing about neuroscience, when we pass age 25 or 28, science says 25 for women, 28 for men, where our brains are formed, neuroplasticity must be directed.
Mm.
What do I mean by that? And that is very important. So if you, for example, want to change your beliefs or thoughts or reactions or triggers, you literally need to make your brain feel uncomfortable. And one of the ways to do it is to be off balance for about 2-3 minutes, and then associate and do things that you want to have them done differently. You need to tell your brain, this is important. This is putting me in danger. I need to change this. If you just go, oh, yeah, I want to change this, it's not going to do anything, because neuroplasticity needs to be directed after that age. If you're before that age, any experience that you have creates neural pathways. And if you reinforce that experience, it can become a formal habit. And one of the ways I explain that to people is like, they go, well, what do you mean, right? I'm doing something new. Yes, but right now science says that you need at least 69 times repetition for this to become a habit. And a neural pathway is this funny way of forming. At the beginning, it's like when you do something, you made your brain feel uncomfortable. Your brain goes, oh my God, I need to look at this. The neurons connect, and it's as thin as a hair. Then right after that, if you keep repeating that, it becomes like a ribbon. Then it becomes like a sidewalk. Then it
Mm.
becomes a one-way street, then a two-way street, then a freeway, and then a highway. And when it's a highway, it
Mm.
becomes your unconscious behavior. Most people think that when you have a new behavior, the old is gone forever. That is not true. In
Mm.
situations of stress, trauma, or anything heightened, your past behaviors that you've practiced for 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever years will surface. But
Mhm.
now you will have the tools to revert back into the new pattern.
Okay, we covered a lot there. Okay, so I'm going to just break that down a little bit because there were a lot of ideas that were so fascinating. So the first one is we first need to ascertain whether we are type A. That's the first thing that I picked up. The
Yes.
second thing, if we feel we're type A, and some people might not know that, we usually know, then we say, okay, celebrating every success isn't helpful. I'm going to celebrate every third success. Okay, so now we have a plan. Type A, every third success, we say, okay, I have a success. It's number one, celebrate it. Now we have another success. That's number two, I'm not celebrating it. That's number three, I'm
I'm
not
just
celebrating it.
remembering the past celebration. So
Yeah.
I'm using the past experience.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not there yet. I'm just getting the groundwork because
Okay.
we want to give people a plan, right? Because you know this stuff. So type A, every third one. Now, on the times that we're not celebrating, we are consciously saying, okay, I'm not celebrating this present moment one, but now I'm going to consciously remember a past celebration or success that made me feel great. Okay.
Yes.
And you're going to sit there for what, 5 minutes, 2 minutes? You're just going to meditate and remember that? Is that what you do?
Yes. You're just going to bring back the feeling of enjoyment.
You're going to think back, okay, I remember when I did that 5 years ago. Oh, it felt so great. And I'm just going to revel in that instead of the current one. So we're replacing it with the past one. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next one, we're doing it again because that's number three. And then number four, we're back to, yay, I got this celebration. I'm a rock star. Okay. Is that the plan for that bit?
For type A that is addicted to dopamine, yes.
Okay. I love it. Now let's go more into, because also adrenaline, all the hormones, you get an adrenaline kick, you're up and then you're down. It's all the hormones do that to us. And we're like, yay. That's why I don't want to get too excited because I know that.
Do get excited. Do get excited. We need that.
No, but when I get too excited, I know it's going to drop. So I try to be excited, but not over the top where it's that unreal, I'm going to drop kind of thing. Okay.
So I would invite you to reframe that,
Mm.
because you're right now preventing yourself from fully experiencing life. I
Mm.
don't want to do that. I'm going to be too
Mm.
excited, according to whom, compared to what,
Mm.
right? That's the question number one. Number two is, of course, if you made yourself a cup of coffee and you go, oh my God, I made myself a cup of coffee. I'm so amazing. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit over the top, and we don't need to experience making a cup of coffee. But if
Right.
it's a huge win, you just got a contract for $50,000 or $500,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely, if it's a rare event. So there is also part of mindfulness in that success, because there are some people that we've taught as coaches and
Hmm.
psychologists and therapists. We all teach to celebrate your
Celebrate your
wins.
success. Yes. Yes.
Yes. But then when after you learn this, it's kind of like with drawing and writing. You
Mm.
have this little pen, and first you just do every letter, not knowing what the letter is. And
Mm.
when you're good at this, then you start connecting them. So the first levels for people who are not, type A, people who
Hmm.
are always down and feel not enough, not good enough, worthless.
Hmm.
Those people do need to learn how to celebrate.
Yes.
But when you
Absolutely.
achieve that mastery, then you go, okay, so where do I want to feel this phenomenal excitement? Because
Hmm.
holding back is not going to do you any good either, because you will create a temperature for you. And
Mm.
then life will be just dull in this area of this is where I am. There's nothing going above and nothing beyond it. And we need those swings once in a while. That's part of human experience.
Mm. I feel though some people are addicted to those swings, like excitement and then oh, there's
Right,
nothing. Excitement, and I used to be like that. Excitement. So,
right,
but you're saying there's a better way. It's excitement, two times not so excited, a third time
right.
excitement. Okay. Now, what happens with people that don't regulate this? You're saying that this will actually regulate the dopamine by
It does.
measuring it. Okay. How long does it take to do that?
So every person will be different depending how long have you been practicing the crazy excitement, right? How prone you are to changes, how determined you are to start being better. Because again, the neuroplasticity happens when you are determined and you
Hmm.
tell your brain, okay, this needs to change. This is not serving me. From what Dr. Huberman says, it takes a while. It takes quite a few tries, and especially people who have been living on this high for a very long
Mm.
time. This is just one part of the process. Now we have the
Hmm.
second part of the process. You need to learn, and this is a phenomenal story from Tony Robbins, where his son was great at chilling, and
Hmm.
Tony's like, what do you mean chilling, like doing nothing? I can't do that. This is ridiculous. I
Hmm.
have a plan. I need to go. I need to do this. And then one day he had this epiphany. He goes, maybe that's what my son is supposed to teach me. Well, the brilliance
Mm.
of that in science is that his son is great with releasing serotonin,
Mm.
which is another hormone chemical. And that is a happy hormone, which is feeling good at just being.
Right.
And the balance of these two makes you a human who is very holistically aware and is able to direct your emotions,
Hmm.
attentions, feelings, self regulate so you don't blow up and you don't, have lows. And that's the next step for type A. Learn how to be without a plan, without
Hmm.
a goal, be in the enjoyment. Some people call this, mindfulness, some people being in the present.
Hmm.
All of these are little tiny techniques, but all of them lead to one thing: release of serotonin, which is absolutely mandatory because it's a bonding hormone.
Mm.
And it's the hormone that creates calmness and the sense of peace that everybody keeps talking about. I want to have peace. But the
Hmm.
thing is that if you don't understand how it works in your brain, there are a lot of people who are in the peace stage, in the serotonin stage, and they literally do nothing in their life.
Right.
And they're just, I'm just good.
They're
I'm just
relaxed.
flowy. I'm
Yes.
so relaxed and I'm so happy. And those are, flower children. And those are in that state, prolonged state might be good for you, but it's not good for your life because at one point you do
Yes.
need to
You need to
get
do
up.
something. You need to get the adrenaline, the dope hits, right? Yeah.
But what if you could control that, and you can, and
Mhm.
teach yourself how to switch back between one and the other whenever you need it? That
Mm.
is part of neuroscience and neuroencoding and brain health training, right? And coaching that I do.
So it's even knowing, okay, we got adrenaline. We know adrenaline kicks are good, but not all the time because that would do wreak havoc.
Absolutely.
And then we've got the dopamine. We all love that dope hit. Like it's like, oh, I feel good. But then there's the down, and we really want serotonin, but we want to have the other hormones. So we do stuff in life, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So you're saying that you do this one, two, three, one, and then two. And when we're doing the two, when we're thinking of past celebrations, that is developing serotonin. Is that correct?
So that's one of the ways to it releases the dopamine release. So you still get
Uh,
the dopamine, but it's not the
not like the
spike.
spike. Yeah.
It kind of takes from the past and prolongs the experience.
Right. And so the serotonin bit is like meditating or something.
That could be, or saying, I have no plan for today. I'm
Mm,
just going to enjoy the day. And then consciously finding things you're enjoying without a plan. And trust me,
mm,
when I was learning this, I was like, okay, let's go. No, no, we're not going anywhere.
mm.
How would I, what do I feel like doing today? I was like,
It
this
sounds
is
like
so weird. This is so not me.
it sounds like my road trips with my daughters. They're like, "Mom, you don't plan anything." I'm like, "That's the fun of it. We're just driving. We know where our destination is, and what we find along the way is the adventure."
So I have gotten to the point of about 5, 6 hours of being okay with doing absolutely nothing
Oh, yeah.
on like a regular time. But most of the time, unless I'm sick or something
Yeah.
else is happening, or I'm extremely tired. But overall, that gave me a balance because now I know I've recognized, and I use Triad for that, where my focus goes, the language I'm using, and my physical state. And I created those consciously so I can literally remember, okay, if I want to relax and this my focus goes here, and these are the things I usually say, okay, let's switch back there. Or
Mm,
this is how I need to move around. And I
mhm,
usually do that through dancing and movement
mm.
and feminine little things that I enjoy
Right.
doing, or taking a bath with, sound or candle lights, whatever that
Right.
might be. And I bought myself into it.
Right. So the chilling, it's relaxing and, and some people are great at chilling and some people are not, but I agree we do need to know how to chill.
Yes.
We do need to know how to chill. And I agree that, there's value in just sitting with no plan. I just sometimes sit and I'm not meditating.
Yeah.
I'm not journaling about my gratitude. I'm like, oh, I should be. And I'm like, no, just sit. And that develops serotonin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or sitting with a person that you care about, and one person's reading a book and another one just laying on your lap and doing nothing. There's no goal, there's no purpose,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothingness. It's the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, when we touch humans, and human touch is so important, there's failure to thrive experiment that has been
Yes.
written about so many times. Children without touch die. We humans
Mm-hmm.
without touch also die internally.
Mm,
Mental illnesses, brain distortions do develop without a human touch. To
mm,
release oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone and a feeling of safety and belonging, you need at least 31 seconds of a hug. And there are different
mm,
studies. Some say 26, some say 28, some say 31.
mhm,
I'll just go with the 31 in case those
mhm,
miscalculated before. And you need to fully hug somebody for 31 seconds for them to let go of stress, let go
mm,
of the fear, let go of the feelings that are part of our human experience.
mm,
So, those for your mental health, for your brain health, for your
mhm.
um, perception of the world, and the calmer you are, the better decisions you make.
Absolutely. Now, what about pets for people that live
It
alone?
works. It absolutely works.
So I think that there were studies that also like hugging your dog or your cat, did that count
Yes.
as human touch?
Yes. Well, it's not a human
Mhm.
touch, but it does release oxytocin and calms you down. Absolutely.
Right. So you can interchange that if somebody doesn't live with people.
Absolutely. Or you can do what I do. I go sometimes, we went out to dinner to an exclusive restaurant with my friend, and she's going, oh, I'm going to pay. And there's this lady, I saw her being very, I don't know, uncomfortable in her life. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, would you like a hug? And I
Mm,
just went like this. She hugged me and I hugged her for 31 seconds. You could see stress melt away from her face. It was so
mm,
amazing.
mm.
I love people who go out on the streets and go free hugs because they're literally changing the world. There's
Right.
hug is such an innocent and beautiful touch that does
Mhm,
so much good for our human experience and our body and our
mm,
brain and
mhm.
who we are as humans.
Absolutely. I've read that. That's kind of a more commonly known thing now. Okay, so we have a plan. If you're type A, do the plan. And then anybody should learn to chill out a bit. Like chill out. Do you chill out every day? Do you do it every week? What's your schedule for chilling out? Do you spend an hour chilling out every day?
So I don't spend an hour chilling out every day. What I do is I find moments where I feel like there's this, rush of doing things. I'm like, okay, what do I feel like doing right now?
Mm,
And for example, I love reading books. That takes me away. That's my type of
Mhm.
relaxation. I also go for walks, and I do that 3, 4 times a
Mm.
week. And those walks take about hour and a half.
Mm.
I do between 3 and 5 miles. And what I do then, I don't answer phone calls. I don't go on social media. I don't listen to
Mhm.
music. I literally concentrate on green grass, finding
Mhm.
little things that are walking around, noticing them, not really finding, but
Yes.
noticing a bird, noticing a movement of the leaf, how the light is playing. It is absolutely phenomenal for me. And it's some people use this element as a walking meditation. There's another
Mhm.
step you can do to that. But for me, it's
Mhm.
not always necessary. I don't need to do the breathing at that time. Although in high stress situations, I go for walks.
That's what I do. I'm going for a walk. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for all this. Now, and tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get into all this?
I'm Polish, as you know, and the audience might not know. And when I lived in Poland, I was raised here, and I went back, very troubled teenager. And I graduated college, I got my master's, I was working on my PhD, and I owned a company that I built, and that was HR services. I was also a career coach, and I also got married and divorced, and I had two beautiful baby girls. From my past, I also had an experience of losing a child. So
Mm.
the attachment type of love I had for my children wasn't the healthiest at the beginning. I was
Mm.
also an advisor to a Polish president. I was also on a three-way commission for the Polish government. I was an extremely well known and recognized expert in Poland. And I was the most miserable woman you could ever meet. I
Mm.
would be successful, high achiever, type A, running a company, doing this, doing that, invited speaker, panelist, writing articles on TV every day, in the media every day. I mean, I had it all. So everybody thought.
Mm.
And then I would come home and I would cry. I would cry myself to sleep every day out of exhaustion, out of being tired, going, there's no way that's what life is about. Like, this success sucks. I don't like this success. This is not who I am. And then you would hear from outside, people go, oh, you're so brave. You're so amazing. I admire you. I'm like, beep, beep, beep. A lot of bad words in my head going,
Mhm.
I don't want you to admire me. I want to be fragile. I want to be weak. I don't want to think. I want somebody to make a decision for me. And
Mm.
life was not providing that for me, partially because of who I am and how I kind of fell into the role, not chose the
Mm.
role. And then one day I took a deep breath and I'm like, okay, this cannot be it. It was a permanent depression. I'm also epileptic, which high stress, lack of sleep resulted in seizures every 2, 3 weeks. Grand mal seizures, they're no fun. And me pretending that I'm not epileptic did not help.
Mm.
And I mean, okay, this has to change. So I tried psychologists, I tried doctors, and then I run into 20 years ago into a coach. And she
Mm.
changed my life with 5 sessions. Well, 5 sessions to the point where I stopped crying, right? Then we worked a little bit
Mm.
more to get out of other things. But it was an enormous change. She allowed me to be in the present moment, helped me to realize that the past is in the past and I have control here and now of me and only me. And the
Mm.
burden of the world, what people think of me, the people pleasing, the A type personality that was so strong. Funny enough, I did my assessments about half a year ago. I'm no longer type A. I'm not red, I'm
Mhm.
yellow. My
Oh, you mean the DISC assessment?
Yes.
Yes.
So it changed, and one of the things I used to do other assessments like MBTI. I used to be an F. Now I'm a T.
Mhm.
So a lot of things have changed because of my growth and development. And I stopped coaching for many years because I've decided that I need to get myself to where I want to be. And I want to know, who the heck am I? What is my
Mm.
identity? What do I want from life? How do I want life to look like? And how I wanted to get rid of the need of looking for approval everywhere. There's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
looking for approval, but the moment it becomes your primary focus, it becomes destructive.
Mm.
And I worked really hard on me for about 12 years. And then one
Mm.
day, um, I run into something called brain revolution. And it was Dr. Daniel Amen, a double board certified neuropsychiatrist. and Joseph McClendon III, the master coach for Tony Robbins. And they created a
Mm.
program that doesn't exist anymore. They separated since then. And they
Mhm.
created a program, Brain Revolution, where Dr. Amen provided scientific, data driven knowledge about the brain, what's anterior cingulate, what's prefrontal cortex, what is the basal ganglia, what everything is responsible, how does it work, which exercises for what type of alternative options of rewiring your brain. Since then, I got my EMDR license, right, which works phenomenally. And we have scans and,
Mhm.
analysis of how it disassociates past events from emotions. And
Mhm.
I took that all in with Joseph's neuroencoding, which is using your body to kind of enhance and speed up the process of the rewiring of the brain. And I just merged those two, sprinkled on top knowledge of psychology, sprinkled on top Dr. Huberman. And that's where we came up with this. And Dr. Amen has his supplements, which I do use a lot with people who do need it. We do brain analysis, we do brain type. We recheck if you really have ADHD. I would like to say that like 90% of people who
Mhm.
say they have ADHD, they don't.
No, I know it's kind of a popular thing to self-diagnose that, and I don't
Yes,
think that it means
yes. And ADHD is real, just to be clear, but
of
just,
course, but not everybody has it.
yes.
Yeah. They all say, "Oh, everybody's ADHD now." I'm like, "Ah,
Yeah, no,
because you're unfocused because you watch too much social media doesn't actually mean you're ADHD. It just
exactly.
means you've lost focus." What do you mean there's supplements? There's, like, brain supplements that
Yes. So, depending on a brain type that you have, your brain is
Mhm.
predisposed to certain things. And there
Mm.
are specific supplements created by Dr. Amen with FDA approvals and everything else. They're 100% natural, but they are therapeutic grade.
Mm.
And I have found that people who do have ADHD found specific types, because most people don't know there are 7 types of ADHD and all of them are treated differently. Um,
Mm.
so that's why Adderall doesn't work for everybody.
That's right.
So those, and they're in different parts of your brain. So different parts of the brain needs to be stimulated and worked on. And we have found that a lot of people, not everybody, nothing works for everybody, have been able to stop taking medication with the help of their doctor. I'm going to say that, right? With the help
Mhm.
of their doctor, and stay on supplements which had less side effects or no side effects, and actually help their brain to function properly. Because the
Right.
truth is, your behavior is a result of your brain health. It's not your
Mhm.
mental health, it's not your psychology. Your brain health creates the result of mental health, your behaviors, your thoughts. So it's kind of like people say, oh, mindset is so important. First of all, mindset, which means it's fixed. So we need
Mm.
mind reset.
Mhm.
But to reset your mind, it's kind of like saying, oh, I got this beautiful car. I'm going to go 100 miles an hour. It has this beautiful interior. It has this beautiful dashboard and it smells nice and this and has all those bells and whistles. And outside, it's, all these colors. And then you look under the hood and the engine is 20 years old and it can only go 20 miles an hour.
Right.
You need to change the engine. You need to upgrade the engine for your car to go.
Right. Okay, great. Okay. So you're saying that they have scans and they can actually figure
Yes.
out what kind of
Yes.
ADD or AD. That's wonderful. And then, well, that's far more scientific and smart than just giving everybody something and hoping it works because actually some of that it does damage. So you can figure out which type or if they have it at all. And then you can give supplements that work for the particular type. Well, that's
Yes.
far more intelligent. That's amazing.
And if you need a scan, I will refer you to the Amen Clinic. They'll do the scan. They know you're from
Hmm.
me. So we'll be working together to get you better. And,
Hmm.
the beautiful thing about what we do is that because it comes from a psychiatrist, none of us are, there are a few people like me in the world, are
Hmm.
opposing medication. But the idea is that Dr. Amen promotes, and I agree with, is first we will try everything we can
First. Yes.
before we put you on meds. If you're in crisis or I don't know something is bleeding out,
Mhm.
please don't take natural supplements for brain bleeds
Right.
and go. I'm going to cure my cancer with herbs and spices.
Mhm.
We're not there yet. But if
Right.
it's not traumatic, it's not a distress, it's not emergency
Mhm.
medicine.
Mhm.
This is time to try. If you're not suicidal, if something is not horribly going wrong, and this is definitely a time to try.
Right.
Because what I have
Mhm.
found is one of my clients a while back, I do ask for medication, not because I can do anything with it, but I need to know because some supplements cannot be taken with medication.
That's true.
And you
That's
need to understand that too much dopamine can hurt you, too much
of
serotonin
course.
can hurt you.
Yes.
So if you are on a bunch of medication, then we need to have a chat with your doctor if you choose to. But that
Sure.
person was on 8 different types of anti-anxiety, antidepressant medication. I'm like, how many more are you willing to take?
Mm.
And at the end, I think it took us 2 years with their doctor. They started
Okay.
coaching with me and we were working on it. We ended up with 2 medication on a very small doses and
That's
one supplement. And that's
amazing.
also a success, right? It's
Very successful. Yes. It's all about,
yeah, the
it's not
balance.
about black and white ever. So this has been super fascinating. So Dominika, what's one thing you want to leave everybody with before we close the show? What's some mindset or something you live by?
So I wake up every day. I take a deep breath. I drink a glass of water the first thing I do before I eat anything or get out of bed. And I say, I'm curious how today is going to be great.
Mm, okay, I love that. That's wonderful. So that's what we should do or what she does. I'm curious how today is going to be great. Thank you so much, Dominika, for turning up. If you want to reach out to Dominika, what's your website?
You can go to my website. It's yourbraincoachd.com.
And that will be in the show notes if you want to go find that. Thank you so much. That was fascinating. I hope that everybody got a lot out of this. And make sure you share this episode and you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jeanne Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jeanne Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact.